Here's the Stagg brewer box. Comes in a pretty cool box. Very hip. Has all kinds of interesting ideas of how to brew and what to use, what temperature. Tells you about all the features. Nice thing is the box is pretty small. It's not overly boxed. It has nice materials. That's all I want to talk about, stupid boxes. I hate unboxing stuff, and I definitely hate videos that talk about it. Hi, this is Joe from GCBC. This is another one of our admin reviews. I got some products from Fellow. They're making some really neat things out of San Francisco. Mainly, they've got a lot of attention for their kettles, which I'm going to review first, and I've also received one of their pour-over brewers as well. But today we're going to review this kettle. It is a matte black finish. It's all metal. I guess they used to have plastic up here. This one's metal. It's got a nice little dial. I don't know if you can see it, but it has an indicator. I'll do a close-up shot of it later. It's a gooseneck, and it has a counterweighted handle that makes it easier to pour. And it has a, you're supposed to fill it up to the right where this bend is. No further. I actually get close and it starts to pour out the top. So I've used it for about a week. I love this kettle. It's my new favorite kettle. It makes me very excited to see when they are going to come out with their EKG, which is their electric temperature controlled kettle. Such as I have a Bonavita that I've reviewed in the past that is an electric kettle. It's actually my go-to. It's just too convenient to go ahead and set the temperature, walk away. With this, you have to monitor it a little bit more when you have it on the stove. So if you don't like monitoring your kettle while it's heating up, this is not going to be that great. But if you don't mind monitoring your kettle, this is amazing. The built-in thermometer is nice. It's a nice touch. It's very convenient. It also heats quick, and I'm pretty sure it's double-walled. Let me feel it real quick. Maybe not. It's pretty thin. But it heats up quickly and maintains the heat for a long time. I'm always surprised. I do have to reheat it if I'm doing pour over later on, but for the most part it maintains the heat very well. Also, because it is a stovetop model, when you use it you do have to have like a hot pad or something. It will be hot underneath. That takes some getting used to if you've been using the electric kettles. Something that I like about the Fellow brewer is that it has amazing balance, and so you can control the flow rate much better than with the kettles that I have. Right now I have a Bonavita stovetop. If I try to, for instance, control the flow rate, I can do it pretty well. But if I want to drop like a drop somewhere, it becomes more of a challenge. I can do it with practice and trying, but it's not as intuitive. Their electric kettle is actually better for this. It's a little more balanced, the Bonavita, and so I can do it with a lot less practice eventually. I'm not really being great at it right now. But with the Fellow brewer, it seems to be almost effortless to just place a drop anywhere I need to. And I think that's a pretty good test on how the balance works on these. This one is amazing. John F. said there's a kettle that he really likes. It's a Japanese kettle, and it has that kind of control. And I never understood what that looked like until I received the Fellow to test out. This has amazing balance. It's much easier to control. Not that you would ever place a drop on one part, but just to be able to have that kind of control over the flow rate is a good thing. So I have the Fellow and the Bonavita going at the same time. If you notice, I have to go ahead and put a thermometer on the Bonavita kettle, but I don't have to on the Fellow because it comes with one. Also, the thermometer that I have is too wide of a diameter, so it can't fit into the nice little vent holes. I see some people, drill them out or whatever else to make that work. However, I don't use the stovetop versions often for any of my kettles. Something I do want to note as well, some critiques on the Fellow brewer. The Fellow kettle, is about $80 last time I checked. It's in around that range. I don't think it's too much cheaper. I know at GCBC we get a discount of 25% with a coupon code, but elsewhere you're gonna spend some money. So it shouldn't have any flaws at that price because it's competing against other kettles. The one flaw that I can say that I'm a little disappointed in is where the handle materials are. The handle has some rubber on the end of it down here, or plastic. It's hard to tell, but it's flexible. And this handle itself feels like it can get hot pretty quick. I've read some reports of it melting. So that's my only concern with this kettle at all, actually, to be honest with you. Whereas this kettle seems to have Bakelite, and it's pretty common material. It's pretty far away. Not that this is not far away, but for some reason the shape of this kettle tends to bring less heat to the handle. So this kettle costs $30. This kettle costs $70, $80, and depending if you're using our discount at GCBC, you can get it for a lot cheaper. So now time to test it. This is the Fellow Stagg brewer. I think it's Stagg X. They sent this along for me to review as well. I will be reviewing that shortly, but just to go ahead and test and make sure this does what it's supposed to, which is pour hot water properly at the right temperature, which it does say it's at about 195 currently. Let it pre-warm the brewer. This has a double wall. I'll review it more in depth here in a little bit. And this is one of my favorite mugs. It's a shape of a camera lens. So we put that in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and dump the hot water. Something I've seen on the other videos regarding this as far as white paper filters. This came with some filters, which is nice. They are special size filters. But white filters are not as imperative that you pre-wet them. Their only main benefit of pre-wetting them is to get everything warm. They don't really impart a whole lot of flavors. If you ever need to test that, go ahead and pour the water onto this anyways, like you would normally, and then simply wait till it's cool, of course, but take a sip of the water, and you can see any flavors that it might impart. On a white filter, it's going to be minimal. On a brown filter, you will quickly realize that it tastes like cardboard. So I'm going to go ahead and place the grounds, pre-measured with the Baratza SETI 270W for my 1 cup. And then we are going to go ahead and wet the grounds. If you have a timer, great. If not, count to 30 in your head. And also, you should probably have this on a scale to make sure you're brewing the right amount. That's a little too much work for me. I like to go ahead and just brew it to volume, and I just check every once in a while, make sure I'm not overflowing. This is where that control comes into play. I can really just wait and really control the amount of flow that I want to add in there. The Gooseneck is nice too, just because it really allows you to place that water exactly where you want it. Just check every once in a minute. The Fellow Stagg X also comes, or doesn't come with, but you can purchase a made-to-fit glass carafe, double-walled, where you could actually see how much you're brewing, which would make it easier for sure. I do not have that, so I have to do more of a check and see and make sure I'm not overfilling it method. So far we're doing great, about halfway done. This brew method is not for those that are impatient. If this is your morning ritual before you go to work, I feel sorry for you. But might be a good thing. Might mean that you have a very relaxed work that allows you to show up whenever you want to. And it also means that you probably prepared yourself and woke up early enough to make yourself coffee the right way. That's about it. Welcome back. Now it's time to try the coffee. As always, I highly recommend our coffee from Green Coffee Buying Club. You can get green coffee there that you can roast on your own in your home, or if you have a roaster. We have the best coffee in the world, much better than any of our competitors. We don't really compete with anybody, but it's the highest of the high. We cup everything, it's amazing. We have excellent distributors. If you have not thought about roasting your own coffee, start thinking about it. If you want the best coffee possible, you have to roast your own. And we have the best green coffee at the best prices for that. Now it's time to test this out. I'm actually going to taste Amaro Gayo dry process Ethiopian Yirgacheffe from GCBC, from Green Coffee Buying Club. If you do like these fellow products and you'd like to buy them, you can get a discount if you mention that you heard about it through Green Coffee Buying Club. Hannah has offered a limited time discount, so act soon if you are considering any of the products. They are worth the money. The difference between $70, $80 and $30 over the lifetime is not that significant, and the quality of this kettle is going to pay dividends further down the road. So if you like to have really good equipment and you want to support a local business in San Francisco, then you should definitely check out all of the fellow products, but I especially recommend their kettle. It's world renowned. And so here it is. Amazing.